good push back through the 5 track. First push, American 2020. American 459. 459, guys. Spot 9, ground 29. Spot 9.9, and sequence American 459. Hello, ground American 1895, 55 is given. American 1895 to the ground, with 27 left short, taxi Tango, Papa, Uniform, Sierra, so off runway 27 left. Tango, Papa, Uniform, Sierra, cross, come right American 1895. Ground American 459, spot 9 with Duluth. American 459, you have your number there, you know? Hey, perfect. Alright, American 459 to the ground, 27 left short, taxi by 203, Kilo Lima, hold short, runway 27 right. Kilo 3, Kilo Lima, American 459, short at 27 right. Well, 233, the King is waiting on you. That's your favorite. Boat 78, only 22 left, follow Baron coming off your left.
There's 2 left, follow Baron, copy, follow 38.
So please follow Baron here, copy 616, what's the good? We're going to Bravo 11, sir. So 616, Yankee, drop to 31. Cross all of the 31, down and go to the 11, stop with. I believe that's American 1065 with Charlie going over to spot 4, runway 2 west, taxi via Tango 4, Tango 3, Bravo, cross runway 31, I'll get a 4 time to DSS. Ground up 66, join Lima for ramp 2.
So it's 60 minutes, ground taxi right number 2.
Ground 66, ramp 2. Ground Delta 2636 is south.
So 2636, ground 9 left, Mike 2, taxi via Mike.
Alright, Mike 2 via Mike for Delta 2636.
American 1046, ground, give way to the Airbus off your right. Rolling north at Mike 2, turn right onto Lima and hold for the Lima 1.
Give way to the 220 Delta and then to Lima runway 9 line.
Delta 2636, you're next, you can monitor on 12385.
Alright, 12385 at Delta 2636. Yeah. Line of ground on a 398 to North Passenger. 398, right, ground on the 8 right Passenger Hotel. 8 right via Hotel, Delta 398. American 1046, confirming Lima 1.
American 1046 it is, follow the 75 from your left, and you can monitor on 12385.
Okay, Lima 1, follow the 75 from the left, American 1046. Ground up 66, join Lima for ramp 2.
So it's 60 minutes, ground taxi right number 2.
Ground 66, ramp 2.
415 again, the E-170 off your right, your sequence powers on 125.32.
Roger that, 2532, Delta 415.
Surrender ground, Citizen 1, North Fargo, Alpha 11. Got a 330 for Echo 12, ramp 5.
One more, hold for the base left, your tower.
Echo 8 left, head firing, Sub 1.
And Delta 704, I'm guessing you're ready now?
We're ready, Delta 704 is here.
On Delta 704, taxi right, Jacko.
Echo 8 right, Delta 704.
Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Captain Mike here. Hope everybody had a great holiday.
Going in, talk to ramp 2.
And Atlanta ground, Code 1, just a heads up, we are heavy today.
I've been working on my night lighting, that's why I haven't been on for a while. Let me see if I can log in here. And I've been updating the flight deck, getting everything up to date, so everything is looking pretty good right now. We're sitting out in LA. It's one of the reasons why I'm running from LA to Seattle, which is longer than I usually run. I want to run a test for stability. I've just updated the X-Plane to the latest update with all the scenery. That took 60 gig. Had a little bit of an issue trying to get that in. It told me that the two outside computers were updated to RC2 when they weren't. It didn't update the scenery. I had to go in and put the installer in direct from their website and then try again, and then it worked, and it took the scenery. So that's all up now. The Zibo Mod, I've got the latest and greatest. Unless he's put something else out in the interim, I'm using 4.00.2, and we're going to have a look at that as well. So we're all set. I just got to get the APU up and running here. We have fuel in the center tank, and we're ready to get on out of here and get those doors buttoned up. And I wonder if I can get that from here. Let me bring this down. Yeah, I've been offline for a little while, Jackson. Between Christmas, New Year's, doing some work on the lights and the 3D stuff for the updates that Zibo was working on. Been a little busy. But things have settled down. Today I'm going to try and get this flight in. I may not be sitting in here the whole time, but I just want to make sure that it's going to be stable. Let me bring up the other menu. I'll be right back. Hopefully this is going to work. Now, where'd my menu go? Okay, that's not going to work from there. See if I can get that from here. I may lose you for a second. Let's go to ground. Services, what do we have here? Alright, let me get up and running first, shall we? That test is done. And it should be long enough. Very good. And let's give that a minute actually before we get started with the APU air, and let's get these doors buttoned up. Push back.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
By the time they get here, we'll be on APU bleed air. Alright, I don't think I need this anymore. Let's get rid of that menu. Today's flight, I think, is just over 3 hours. This is an Alaska Airlines flight, Flight 1293, from LAX to Seattle. And they're showing just over 3 hours at 36,000 feet. Alright, so that's just about a minute.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed, so we're ready to connect.
And let me make sure we are disconnected now. Right. And you chocks are off. And we are looking good. Alright, I think we're good to get on out of here.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, 5 past 10's inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
And let's get that clock going.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Okay. And we're starting number 2. Hopefully I removed most of my stutters. I was having an issue with that. Turns out it was a 3D vegetation. No matter how I moved my sliders, I could not get rid of them. So I'm expecting a nice smooth ride. We'll be turning out to the right here. That aircraft you see there is from Traffic Global, from Just Flight. You close. Oh no! And we're starting number one. For the past couple of Zibo updates that have been out, I've finally been able to use his linear settings instead of having to use my own cubic settings for my yoke and rudder pedals, and the feel of the aircraft is just phenomenal now. He really has done an amazing job with this aircraft.
And we're disconnecting, so give me just a moment. Slide in the 73 with a 1, 2, 3, 5, 53. Delta 1030 is, we have a valve. Delta 1030 on the ground, we're going down at my 2. And for now, just follow the origin. Delta 1030, actually, our 9 left, our 9 left might be follow the origin. And Delta 2527, make sure your transponder is on, please. It is now. And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
Yeah, I could run that flight again. I think I ran that flight not that long ago. That was a nice run. Yeah, for some reason lately, if you take a look at your map display, it doesn't really line up all that well with Navigraph charts. They actually have me in the building, as you can see here. Alright. Actually, you should be up.
Delta 1030 on the ground, we're going down at my 2. And for now, just follow the origin.
All right. Exterior lights as needed. We are good. APU is off. Master caution recall is done. We got a clean board. Flaps are set for takeoff. Transponder TA auto. Weather radar set to auto. Flight controls are free and clear. All right. So we are good to go. And we have the, was it Triton 2 departure from 7 left. So we're going to be banking a right-hand turn and then heading on up north. Hope you're not coming in here, pal. Are you going to wait for me? That's even better. Thank you. That was rather nice of him.
Delta 704, I'm guessing you're ready now? We're ready, Delta 704 is here.
Seems rather smooth. I don't know if the camera's showing it is smooth, but not too bad. I've got AI traffic at 100%, so trying to hit the system nice and hard. Yeah, my throat's been bothering me lately. All this talking, my throat's reminding me, hey, easy there, buddy.
Rotate 27, 3 north taxi, Takeoff. Rotate 27, I'm ground, taxi today, right, Echo. Hey, right, the Echo, Delta 27.
Yeah, actually, his brother Steve was here. Was that Qantas? I can't see. The text is so small. His brother Steve was here. It was Steve, myself, and Mr. G, another gentleman down here that has his own flight deck, that put it together in a week. But yeah, Pete did stop down. So I had both brothers at the house for a little bit. It was pretty cool. That was just about 9 years ago. It's amazing. Time has flew by. But I tell you, it goes to the testament of the quality of their stuff. It's 9 years old. The only thing that I had to replace was a couple of Hall effect sensors in the MCP. That's it. I added backlighting to the Jetmax throttle quad because I wanted it, didn't have to. So when I changed the controller board, I was having a couple of issues there, but nothing that wasn't easily fixable. Other than that, the rest of the deck is just the way it was. It's beautiful. Let's switch over to tower.
Mobile 05, I am outside the station area, back to the localizer. I need to make an adjustment. Ready to, I'll call you back. FAA Mobile 05, Roger, thank you.
Hope the camera's picking it up nice and smooth because I'm really not seeing stutters in here. I might see a tiny flicker here and there, but
FAA Mobile 05, Roger, proceed as requested inside the safety area report went out. Clear to the safety area.
all right.
Mobile 05, Chico Tower traffic will be a light Calgary departing runway 31.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking off in just a few minutes. Flight attendants, please prepare to stand for
Calgary
departure.
5284 X-ray Tower. You got minute equipment operating behind you. Runway 31 right.
Tenant notification is complete. Exterior lights as needed. We are good. Engine start select is to continuous. Auto throttle is on. Transponder TARA auto. Parker brake release 40%. And we are on our way.
84 X-ray. Freight interchange approved.
Here we come, Seattle. Ready or not. And I can actually change this as well.
Approaching 7 left.
I said we had Triton 2.
And flight care 2 Romeo
40%.
Runway 7 left.
river about 4 miles west of your position. Height and altitude.
Stable. Thrust is set. Airspeed's active. Check. Throttle hold. And we're stable through 80.
Rotate.
See you later, LA.
How's it, break?
Catch you on the rebound. Alright, we need to make 640 feet here. And we've got that made. Flaps 1.
1,000.
November 4, Papa Foxtrot, tower, runway 31 right, cleared for takeoff. Northwest bound departure is approved, offset from the penalty.
Great view. What a great view. Flaps up.
November 4, Papa Foxtrot, when they wanted you to exit either east or west of the extended center line. Traffic 1-2 miles final for runway 13 left. Here's our copy. I'm in a going westbound. Have the traffic inside.
I tell you, the Zibo Mod handles beautifully. He has really done a great job with this aircraft. And we're pretty much trimmed out here. Not bad. All right, Zibo. All you. Ooh, did I miss that? So we need to be above 8 at Triton and below 12 at Dock. And how about we zoom this in a little bit more? Give you a little bit of a better view. So I didn't have the cold and dock through programming up online. I may do that next time and bring up the low data sheet and have you run through it with me as I set up the flight management computer. But I did run through everything cold and dock, checking everything with the latest Zibo Mod, and we are good from cold and dock up to climbing out through just about 10,000 feet now. Everything is beautiful. Great ride. But we still have a ways to go. We have over 900 miles to Seattle. That's 10. And we're climbing up beautifully. Temperature's nice. And what do we have here? Autopilot's engaged. Tender notification is complete. Cabin pressurization and temperature. Yep. And bleeds. Yep. And pack switches. APU is off. Exterior lights is needed. We're good there. Engine start selectors are good. Auto brake selector is off. And landing gear is up and off. Next is 18 for standard pressure. And then monitor, monitor, monitor. On our way to Seattle. I guess I never updated X-Plane 12 when I came, when I moved up from 11, because I don't have an Alaska Airlines aircraft for Zibo Mod here. So I believe I'm using a Delta Airlines aircraft since they had there as well. Could have just ran their flight instead of Alaska, but no big deal. And that's going to be 278.
Your selection of complimentary as well as on-demand TV shows
TCAS is showing someone down there, but I don't see him.
Feel free to use your own headset. Otherwise, if you do need a headset, just let a flight attendant know. They are yours complimentary for this and any future Delta flights.
They're below us, though. Osiris, that's what the name is. Okay, I couldn't tell. I really should keep a set of old man glasses in here. It's hard for me to read the text. It's very small on this small monitor I have on the left, down by the oxygen setup. See if I can zoom that in a little more, give you more of a close-up. So we're holding 12 because we need to be below 12 at dark, or at 12 or below. So after this, we're good to climb on up. So she should continue on up now. And 8-2. And we're on our way up. Beautifully done. Nice departure. I think this is my first flight with the new setup. Everything has been testing. I've been working on my night lighting effects. And I think there's a link below for them if you want to give them a try. As well as wipers and my flow checklist. And I don't know anything else on there. Park cars edit. There's a few edits on that I have down there if you want to give them a try. But I've been working on the night lighting. That's the latest one I've been updating. Seeing how X-Plane did some work to their scenery stuff. And I like the new look. There's less flickering and flashing coming from the lights, and the bulb sizes have been increased. So, looks rather nice. The camera may not do it justice though, but it does look nice. I'll tell you, these flight illusion gauges are actually phenomenal. That looks great. And we're doing pretty good right here on the way out. Inbound IK. And IK, we should have 20.2 on the fuel. We're at 20.3 right now. Coming up on 18, we're going to go to standard pressure. And we can actually, you know what? Once we get past this turn, we'll let them run around. But everything else is looking pretty good. Fuel flow, oil pressure, temperature, quantity, vibrations, everything's looking beautiful. And 304. I'm using Simhaven's X-World down there, aside from X-Plane. So, it may look a little different than what you're used to seeing down there. Well, hey, Jim, how's it going? Jim, I tell you, from cold and dark up to where I am now, passing 20,000, it's been beautiful. I haven't found any issues at all. But most of my issues were related with the yoke and the rudder pedals, and since he's got that linear setup worked out nice, those issues are gone. The only two that I had on descent was the throttles were doing a little bit of searching, and we were doing a little bit of porpoising. A little late on a couple of the turns. So I know he's been working on that as well. So we're going to see how that works out on the way in. 73 knot headwind. Oh yeah. How we doing here? We getting bounced around too much? And we'll let them run around for a bit. Keep an eye on that. And I'll take the weather now. And you've got terrain. That should be in range. So we've got another 76 miles to Tessa. And we should have 18.3 on the fuel. We're at 19.9 right now. We're looking pretty good. Climbing on up to flight level 360. Yeah, he put 2 out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, my time. The one good thing is you have the full version in there, so all you have to do is just copy the update right over it and you're done. Let's switch on over now. I think I have to take a look at this monitor. It's doing a little flickering there. Might be the connection. I was fooling around back there earlier. I might have bumped it. So that black box that you see that we're approaching is not to scale. So we're going to go off. We're going to come off this moving map display before we get to Tessa. Oh, that was an uneventful ride out of LAX. And that's what, 22 minutes out of the gate? And we're just 14 minutes from the runway. We've got 94 miles to top of climb, and we've got 854 to go. What do we have? It's 1900 right now. Sim time. We get in about 2 hours, 15 minutes from now. I'm working on the flow chart right now, Jim. This one here. Basically, what I'm doing here, the only thing that's really left that I have to do on here is I'm breaking down the flow and the checklist items now. So there'll be like a little bit of it'll tell you the text that's in a certain color. I don't know what color I'm using. I have to go look. Those items in a particular section, whether you're doing pre-flight, originator, before push and whatnot, the items that are shown in that particular color are checklist items, but all the items in each particular section are flow items. They're all memorized items. So it'll be all in one, and it'll be easy to pick out. If you do all this on your own because you have it memorized and you're good at it, then you just have to pick this up and hit the items that are in a different color. Hit those items in a particular section and you're done. Instead of just reading off everything every time you go through it, because that's really not how it's done. A lot of this stuff is memorized. So, but that's in the works. That'll be next. But I put that on hold because I was actually working on my night lighting, Jim. I wanted to get the new update out. I really wasn't crazy about the look. The lights are a little dim out in the distance, so they look a lot better now. So now it's time to get back to that. I got him. He's 5 miles out. Oh, what am I saying? He's 2.5 miles out. Can't read his tag though. That'll wake you up. That'll wake you up. Alright, we're off this chart, so let's zoom in here now.
43 to 17, level 190.
Level 190,
And we're coming into Tessa. I tell you, Jim, if you haven't put in Sim Haven's X World, along with what else did I put in here? Oh no, I took that out. Never mind. I was using Florida. I downloaded the entire state of Florida in zoom level 18. Looks great, but it does take that section a while to load up. And with all of the AI that's on top, you really don't notice much of it unless you're out in the swamp area. So I got rid of that, and I put in X World. X World is, I believe, zoom level 16, and it looks great. Oh, you've got it. Oh yeah, that with the buildings on top look pretty cool. Now I really just want to test stability for 3 hours. I usually run my flights an hour and a half, 2 hours at max, because I really can't sit in here that long. I mean, if I push myself, yeah, but then my back bothers me for the next day or two. I should be in range. So I try not to do it. If I do it, I don't do it that often. But I just want to make sure this whole setup is stable, because this has been a couple of big updates. So far, so good. And we're coming up on cruise soon. We're passing 32.4 for 36, and we're looking pretty good. I tell you, it's a tremendous amount of work for donation wear. It really is. They did a great job. It would really be nice if this other company became compatible with X-Plane. I think it's called Shark, or Shark AI. I was looking at their setup, and the graphics are absolutely stunning, with actual ground mapping, just like MS 2020 has, basically. But I don't know if it would be doable or what the cost would be. But it looks absolutely amazing, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to be the future of flight simulators in the future. No doubt about it, man. They're in for a great treat going forward. I wish I was just starting. Not to get a do-over, because I'm in my 60s now, just for flight simulation. Everything else I could care less about. I don't want to do that again. Once was enough. Lucky I made it into my 60s. But you guys coming into flight simulation now, man, you're in for a lot of greatness. No matter what sim you pick. So, Tessa, 18 on the fuel. We're at 18.7. And we should have 7.2 when we get in. So, we're looking pretty good. 15 miles to top of climb now, and 8:14 to go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful ride. And we're fighting another headwind again, man. Look at this headwind, 78 knots. Seems I fight a headwind more than I end up getting the benefit of a tailwind. I think I'm flying in the wrong direction most of the time. So we're coming up on cruise, and that's a half hour from the gate right there. 21 minutes from the runway. Not bad. And Tessa, we should be in at 19:10, and we get in at Seattle at 21:16. So 2 minutes, 6 minutes, 2 hours, 6. A little ways to go. So we got 692 miles at top of descent, so we got a little ways to go. But the one good thing is now that I'm at cruise, I can stretch my legs, get up, get a drink, whatever the case may be. That should be in range. And I know my wife brought in my meds. I took a couple of them. She just brought in my other one. I gotta wait. I have to do some, wait a while, do some, wait a while, then eat. Then at nighttime I have to eat and then take them. Because if I screw that up, then I'll end up getting sick. That's not good. So, daily routine. Could be worse. I get to come in here and enjoy this whenever I want, so that's a huge plus. Alright, how about we get ready to relax here? We're in cruise mode. Here, what do we have? About an hour and 40 minutes at top of descent. And this has been a great, uneventful ride. No complaints. I'm going to have to go back and review the video when I was busy because I really wasn't paying attention out the window, but it looked rather smooth, the taxi out. And some of the climb out I looked at looked pretty good too. So, and from what Laminar said, 12.9 is going to be a quickie interim fix, and we're going to get on to 12.1, which is what I'm looking forward to because that's where the networking stuff begins. Where it is in 12.1, I don't know, but at least we're getting to it. It's going to be nice to have these screens start and match up, both on the ground and in the air. Look at this, 85 knots. The winds are getting worse. At least we're not doing too much rocking and rolling. I'm going to have to lock them back in their seats. No weather to speak of, though. A little bit of rain out here. Looks like we're going to skirt most of that. And our fuel. 18.2. 18. It's looking good. Very nice. Monitor, monitor, monitor. That's basically what it comes down to now. What are we cruising at here? We're going to kick that up a bit. I'm going to cruise at Mach 0.8 instead of Mach 0.76. See how the approach is coming into Seattle on the back end, between the city, the airport, and the mountains. Should be pretty rough on the hardware, so we'll see if we get any flickers or stutters out of the deal. Tell you, if that was a crosswind, they'd be locked in their seats. It's actually pretty smooth considering. 87 knot headwind.
Echo with contact center 135 on 35,
Coming up, we should have 17.8 on the fuel, and we're at 18 right now. We're looking pretty good. And that should be 11. You're slipping there, buddy. Yeah, as we go to 12, you're already here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to skirt all that weather. It's going to be off to our left.
15, 14, 20.3, minus 230.
Okay, 15, 14, that's the other funding, came for level 270.
270, 15, 14.
So that's 631, traffic 11 o'clock, 2 miles off the track.
And we got some AI aircraft in the area here, huh? Not bad. 89. Look at the winds are picking up. Maybe we'll try 380. Could go up. But I don't know if it's going to be any better. I was looking at the real world, and they scheduled 380 and they were down to 36, so I don't think it's going to be any better.
Alaska 232, just want to maintain the level 34034.
340.
After 232, traffic 12 o'clock, 30 miles off the track, 330 Airbus.
I would think by now Jim Pat's got to be up to date. He's usually pretty good with the updates. I would think that I would have gotten a text from him. I figured I would have got a text from him if he was having an issue. All right, 17.8 on the fuel, 17.8 right on the money. We are looking very good. I think the only issue we're having here is fighting a 90 knot headwind. Seems to be getting worse. My wife just came in. She looked right at the desk. She saw the meds still sitting there. Gave me that look. I know exactly what she means without even opening up her mouth. So that's a half hour from the runway right now. What are we looking at? 7:58 to go. And we've got 642 miles to top of descent. And I'm going to go take my meds before she comes back and sees they're still on the desk. I'll be right back.
There you go, 6723, that's that man.
Alaska 232, contact 113.6.
23, 6 bucks, be there, every day.
Alaska 232.
28, 6 bucks, be there, every day.
Double 566, descend via the Ola on arrival at 17 for level 240.
Send me the all arrival at 17, 240, up there, man.
Center, good evening, Avianca 286, flight level 400.
Avianca 06 contact, generator contact, 1 miles south of the
Radar contact Avianca 286.
Avianca 086, just going to maintain the level 340.
Minimum turn 342, Avianca 08.
Avianca 086, for your Montana.
Avianca 086.
Avianca 086, reduce the speed to 1.7.
Reduce 79 to 4 space, Avianca 08.
10 o'clock, 10 miles towards your town, level 20630 Bravo. Depreciation of Montana, you put a 1
Boy, that one medication spray. My body don't like that one at all. Makes me cough like crazy. Then I have to worry about pulling a muscle in my chest. It's one of the reasons why that medication sits there. My wife has to give me that look. And then I come back in here and it's like, wow, it's warm in here. And I have to adjust the AC so it's blasted on me. The only bad thing is if I can't keep this cough in check. I have to take the Cheritosin cough syrup, and it's got codeine in it, and makes me a little drowsy. Don't like taking that. Oh, he's working on the sim again today, Jim? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're always working on it. You got that right. Constantly doing adjustments. I think that's more in part because of Zibo. He's constantly putting updates out, and we have to constantly make adjustments. So that's all right by me, because if you look at the end product, this is just fantastic. What we have now, it's truly amazing. We're looking pretty good, but you know what, Jim? The end game, when it all comes together, it is just so worth it. You know, there are days that you come in here and you're like, argh! Then there are days you come in here and go like, wow, man, beautiful, thank you. And I tell you, most of the times that I have a problem is when Windows wants to butts its nose into my business and thinks it knows better than I do when it puts in one of its updates. But they don't know better than what I do. Not for what my wants and needs are, not here. It really would be nice if they just left stuff alone. You want to give me an update for Defender and your firewall and all that stuff, fine, but leave everything else alone. Cause more problems than anything. One of the reasons why I would like to get my setup working great and get one system. Oh, see, I'm not paying attention. They should have went off a little while ago. And just have one computer online that doesn't touch any of these computers and just upload the weather, the live weather. Would be nice, but haven't found a way to do that.
Julian in Palomar for 800 Papa Mike.
96. The winds are still kicking up here. Man. I guess if I did the return flight, we'd be in for a treat. So we're looking at 45 minutes from the gate from when we left. It took me 40 minutes to do the cold and dark up to getting ready to get on out of here. And the flight deck and X-plane was up about an hour prior to that as well. So she's been on for a while now, and it's rather stable. No black screens, no freezing, none of that stuff going on here. It's been pretty good. What I was usually getting was my center screen, which is the server computer, would just go black. All these screens would just go black. I would get a blue screen, like the monitor's not connected, and then these monitors would come back. That would stay black, and I'd have to hit the Windows icon key on the keyboard, and it brings the X-plane back. Yet, X-Plane continues to run with that black screen, all while it's doing that. I still can't figure out why.
Direct range shows number 2227.
Hey Gage, how's it going? We're on our way to Seattle. We're at cruise right now. We still have another 713 miles to go, and we're under 600 miles now to top of descent. We're at 597. I'm testing all the latest and greatest that was put out from Laminar Research with Release Candidate 2. And I'm checking the latest from Zibo Mod, which is 4.00.2 from earlier today. That should be in range. And we're at 11. And from cold and dark up to where we are now, 46 minutes into the flight from the gate. We're doing pretty good. It's been a great ride. Nothing really to complain about. Nothing out of the norm that's a showstopper at all. But my issue was more on the descent. And the turns being a little wide and then having to correct and then overcorrect. And the turns start off nice, then they kind of drift a little, get a little lazy. Then the flight management computer says, oh, wait a minute, and then steers back in and then kind of overdoes it a bit and then has to correct. And so it seems to happen more at the higher speeds than it does at the lower ones. I want to check to see if that's got mellowed out now. And the throttle has been doing a little bit of hunting at the lower speeds on the arrival and approach. You're on your way into LaGuardia? What runway are they using? Because I used to live in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and we were right on their approach into one of their runways. It's pretty cool. They used to fly over the house every day. Well, when they were using that runway. Lived in a 16-unit apartment building back then. We used to go up to what we called Tar Beach in the summertime. Put a blanket out up on the roof and just sit up there and melt. Oh, runway 4? Okay, cool. I think my favorite approach coming into LaGuardia is coming up the west side of Manhattan and then hanging that right-hand turn. Coming into LaGuardia. You got Teterboro off to your left before you bank your right. It's a rather nice approach. But one of my all-time favorites for that area is the Parkway visual into JFK. That's a really cool approach, especially at dusk, which the lighting with the rabbit leading you in. I really haven't seen it in X-Plane 12 like it is in the real world, but that's an amazing approach. Got the Bell Parkway below you, leading into the Southern State Parkway. Rather nice. Well, the Southern State Parkway's a little further out though, but. That's 50 minutes from the gate, pretty much uneventful. We've got 689 to go, 573 to top of descent, and we're looking good. So we're going to bank this right turn here and head a little bit more north now. Well, actually, that's going to follow along. We could leave that be.
Looking at it straight ahead and we're above the way.
Orlando to Newark. Yeah, it's a nice run. 2 hours, 45 minutes. 2.5 hours, somewhere in there. That's a nice run. I used to do JFK into West Palm Beach, since I used to fly out of JFK all the time. Now, being that I'm in Boca Raton, I have a choice of West Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale. So I'll use either one of those two when I'm in Florida for the most part, even though Miami is the nicer airport. So what are we looking at? S&S, we're looking at 16.5 on the fuel. We are at 16.5 on the fuel. Looking good. Temperature's fine. And we're going to 339. How far out are we? 208? Excessive? Oh, not yet. That's a pretty cool fuel. A little bit of rocking and rolling there. I don't know about that, but maybe with the 95 knot wind. So they may end up in their seats now because we're getting a little bit more of a crosswind than we are a headwind. We'll see once we straighten out here if we're going to have to lock them down.
Definitely 2503, are you able to jump in? Definitely 2503,
and the winds continue to rise. Look at this, 98 knot headwind just about now. Man, not helping us out. Yeah, I usually run my test flights down near in Florida. Usually from Fort Myers to West Palm or Fort Lauderdale or West Palm or Miami to Orlando, Tampa, or Myers for the most part. It's a nice little area to test. You can do quite a bit in that little area. And we're not even breaking a ground speed of 380. Look at this, man. We don't even have a ground speed of 400. Man, those winds are hurting. And how about we take a look at the charts on the back end? When do we get on that arrival? And we have Hawk. LMT. All right. I don't know if you can see that far down on the bottom with your chart there. But let's see. Okay. LMT. So, restriction we have coming up is at Battleground. And that's 240. Very good. And then Petra, we've got above 220. And then Hawk, 270 above 12. That looks good. Line. Pike, 250 between 12 and 15 is looking good. Brevi is 250 between 10 and 11. Nets is above 8. And Key West is above 7. That all looks good. And then 6 at Vashon. They're using 16 center in the real world, so. Did I heard something out of the ordinary there? They're using 16 center in the real world, so we're going to come in the same way. So that looks good all the way in. And if we take a look at 16,
American 1289.
decision height is going to be 200. Missed approach. Climb on heading 160 and outbound. Seattle VOR 161 cross. And below and we're holding at 5. 164. 111.7. And what do we have here? We can actually put that in. And we can actually put you in.
About another 25 miles probably.
Left of course, that's the miles of the gravy.
351 to the deviation, left of course, through, up to the middle.
And let's check the fixed page. I believe that's in. Legs.
American 732 is contact center 118.6.
6 we've got. Yep, that's already in to show us. 344, very good. That's coming into range now.
American 1289 division left of course approved, so direct buoy of an
All right, that looks pretty good. But we're not going to get on that chart until all the way down to Hawks, because this is not to scale. So when we get to LMT, which is in another couple hundred miles, we would be on that chart, but it's not to scale, so we're not going to show up. So we'll stay on the high altitude chart, I guess. And the route that we're flying today is the same route they're flying in the real world. Alaska Airlines flight 1293. And it showed 3 hours and 3 minutes. So we'll see how close we can come to that. We're just getting ready to come up on our first hour. We're at 58 minutes into this ride from when we left the gate, or 59 now. And we've got 50 minutes from the runway. We've got 632 miles to go to Seattle and 516 to top of descent. So we got a little bit of a ways. It's 1936. We get into, was that Rebel? 1959. So another 20 some odd minutes to the next waypoint. And from there, we're looking at another hour and 14 minutes. So. Oh, really? Release candidate. Did they say anything, Jim, on what the update was all about? When if it's associated with scenery or in a different area?
Okay, any ride reports going through there from them?
Something like that, but I don't think aren't bad. It appears to be pretty bad.
Okay, I think we'll go straight and follow what they did now. So we'll go 4195.
Southwest 4495, Roger. 250.
250, Southwest 4195.
98. I saw it touch 99. Look at that. We're getting ready to hit 100 mile an hour headwind. We're fighting. We're not breaking 400 on the ground speed. That's an hour from the gate. 506 miles at top of descent.
We're going a little bit back to the right, but we'll be deviating.
And it's been a beautiful ride. No complaints at all from cold and dark to where we are right now with the Zibo Mod. It's been great.
5 miles left of course, if it's never shown.
Got a 39-2, Bremen Airport, 10 o'clock, 3 miles from the side.
Inside,
Got a 39-2, cleared visual approach, runway 29, Bremen Airport. Skywest 39-2, just to maintain 8,000. Skywest 39-2, Hammer 3, that's enough to maintain 8,000.
Crash if you bypass the main menu. Oh, that's interesting because my two side monitors bypass the main menu. They go straight to standby for the networking. Oh, that's interesting. Would have thought I would have saw that. And the other one related to Linux. Yeah, that doesn't affect me, so that's not too bad. All right, so I can update that one basically at my leisure. So that's pretty good. If that's the only two things that they're putting out right now, maybe 12.09 is done. So now they're going to get into the stuff that we want, Jim. You know, the networking stuff, finally.
Yeah, we're just now checking in 1907.
Airplane 1907, roger, radar contact 4.5 miles northwest up from Redmond Airport. And verify up.
We're at about 7.3 and inclined to 1.
It's been a rather cool view, but it looks like we're going to get some clouds.
14,000, 1907.
Hell, for the first hour, it was pretty good. So I would imagine Patty Boy's probably updating right now if they just put that out. Unless he's in the middle of a ride. He's pretty good at staying on top of that stuff. Now, it looks like we're going to lose our view. And X-World does add a rather nice touch to X-Plane from Simhaven. It adds a nice little touch into the mix. Takes the server a little bit longer to load, though, but I think it's worth it. The OSM data for the buildings, that's a big plus as well. And I said here. Yeah. We don't get on there for a bit. Gotta look into that monitor flickering. I think I bumped the cable. Waiting for that headwind to break 100 knots. We're almost there.
07, contact approach 118.1.
We'll go to port on approach 1801. Talk to there.
Today. Down 54477, Delta Squawk 6651.
6651, Canada 5477.
That's 54477, radar contact 1 mile north to shoot to the alarm, traffic holding. Also over to the shoot to the alarm, 1 mile south of this position, the dark copter 7000, stay altitude.
6,000,
You don't use Linux, do you, Jim? You use Windows, don't you?
KLAX 5508, clear direct Octad, direct resident, click the RNAV Yankee runway 5 over Octad.
Yep, there goes our view.
That's 54477.
Might be a break ahead, but we just lost our view.
Now 477 run from 18 VFR out of below 6,500 to your red and altimeter 29er. Getting the first request after you're done holding. That's now 477 run. Advise me that we should be holding.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Jim.
KLAX 5508, cross Octad at or above 10,000, clear RNAV Yankee runway 5, Redmond Airport.
Hey, on Cat at or above 10,000, clear the RNAV Yankee runway 5, KLAX 5508.
There's a little bit of peekaboo in the clouds there on the right, but not much.
Radar service terminated, squawk VFR, change to advisory frequency.
Still think they look a little bit too soft.
That's now 477 Roger. That's now 477 in traffic. 3 o'clock, 1 mile, clean air, moving 5,000 tons above your altitude northwest. That's now 477, we said the other traffic safe. Clean air 5 Charlie Romeo, additional traffic.
Not set to 0 when the ground services are terminated. Oh, you're talking about on the AC/DC panel? On the selector, it doesn't go to 0? Yeah, I never check that because I'm on ground power. I start the APU. Once APU's up and running, then I switch over to APU power, so I've never noticed that. Visual XP. No, I do not. Who's that? TW Simulations? That I do not have. Visual XP. No. Okay, yeah, I usually put my host address in manually myself as well. But that's going back to X-Plane 11 because it preferred that over selecting left, center, and right for using the the name as opposed to using the number. And I just kept doing it from that point going forward. But the network stuff works pretty good now for me. I don't do that anymore.
477, what's your request?
So there's really no rain to speak of except a little bit out here, way out there.
Got 477 record turn.
Just a lot of clouds,
VFR track for the cruise, separate.
a lot of coverage.
VFR, Redmond off under 2998. That's now 477 traffic. 9 o'clock, 1 mile southbound, altitude 85.
Oh, that's 8 RC3, so then it's still 9 RC2.
Southbound 477 record, resume on navigation.
Hey, Mad Creative, how's it going? Welcome aboard. Hope you had a good holiday season, and hopefully 2024 is going to be a better year than 2023. Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. The flight deck itself is from Flightdeck Solutions. It's a company up in Canada. They made this for me 12 years ago, and I've been enjoying it ever since. That should be just about in range. I would put Discord up for live chat, but there were just too many children out there that ruin it for everybody, unfortunately. Or else I would have that up again. Makes it easier than just typing, I know, but I could. I don't even actually have to have that. I could clean it up. And we're looking pretty good here. And we're holding at 5, yes. And we've been fighting a headwind the entire ride, man. And we're at 99 now. You gonna break 100? Oh, 12093 is out. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised with the sub menus that you have on the electronic flight bag for this setup. I'm not surprised the amount of stuff that's on there. It's a lot of work, and it shows. You look at the end product here. Who, I do? That might be because I'm sick most of the time. My voice gets a little raspy. I tell you, the edge of the clouds as you pass by almost give you the illusion as if you have icing on your windscreen. The way it looks. Oh, so it had to do with their pop-up menu, or their little icon that popped up telling you about the scenery update that was available. Yeah. Yeah, this update was a little weird. I had issues with my left and right computers. Oh, we're popping out in the clear again. My left and right would not take the scenery. It told me it was up to release candidate 2, but I actually had to do what you did, Jim. I had to go and get the download a new installer from the website, run it, and then it realized that even though it was showing release candidate 2, that the 60 scenery was still missing out of it. So that was a little screwy, but it was an easy fix. Just copying over the new installed EXE over the old one, and then just run it. And then boom, 60 gigabytes later, we're pretty good. Actually, this is my first full ride since putting all that in. So, and it's been pretty good so far. No complaints from cold and dark to where we are now. It's been a great ride. And what are we looking at here? Oh, we're just about 400 miles to top of descent now. We're at 403. And we've got 518 to go. So after this ride, I'll put in the latest update, even though I don't think that's going to affect me at all. Well, it hasn't. I don't have Linux, and I don't, and they haven't crashed on boot up. So yeah, it's really weird because the one that was in X-Plane didn't cut it on the networked computers. So I guess maybe if they're all set up as main, there's no issue. But those being set up as being networked, yeah, the installer just was like, nope. Unless it was reading the server computer that updated, thinking it was updated. The only thing I could think of. But at least it was an easy fix. Still doing a little rock and roll in here. That should be in range. What are we looking at, Rebel? 13.4 on the fuel. We're at 13.9 right now. We're looking pretty good. And fuel flow, oil pressure, temperature, oil quantity, vibrations all look great. Pressurization panel's looking good, and the temperature is nice and comfortable back there. No, the park vehicles that I have on there, no, that doesn't affect it at all. Basically what it is, though, just keep in mind that if you've ever used ortho for XP or satellite imagery, you know, everything is flat. Those parked cars are actually just painted onto the roadway, so they're flat. So when you get up close to them, you'll be able to see that they're not 3D. That's the only thing. But I put them in because I grew up in Brooklyn, in Bay Ridge. Someone was coming into LaGuardia, that's right in my area where I grew up. And you couldn't find a parking space. You went for blocks, circling and circling and circling until someone pulled out and you grabbed it. So flying around an X-plane with no cars anywhere just seemed a little weird to me. So I decided to create that little edit. And that's really the only limitation, is when you get up close you can see that it looks, you know, all flat. But I haven't even checked. That may not even work with X World. I don't even know. It probably won't. I have to go back and take another look and see if that's still going to work. But I don't think so. I haven't noticed it though. But I've really been doing a lot of testing, more looking at the cars on the ground though.
Alaska 3776 Roger, climbing takeoff 230, maintain 27, zone on.
Up to 230, downtown.
So we'd be coming up on that arrival chart real soon, but it's not to scale, so you're not going to see a moving map on there, so I'm not going to bring that up just yet. I'll bring it up when we get to, what do we have to get? We have to get all the way down to Hawks. But we would pretty much be just about on that chart. This has been a great ride. Now it opened up again nicely. Be nice if we have a decent view on the way in. I should have set the flight up where we were coming in at dusk or nighttime. Get a nice view of the night lighting. Maybe next run. Won't be out here though. So what do we have? Rebel, we need 13. What is it? 13? 13.3 on the fuel. We're at 13.5. So we're looking pretty good. And 7.5 on the fuel in Seattle. So, oh, the headwinds are starting to come down a little bit. They're down to 94 now. They have been no help at all this entire ride. We've been getting knocked around with a headwind the whole way. And I think I see why they went to 360. Alaska Airlines flight today, 1293. They initially filed for 380 and flew 360, and you can see why. They would have been up in that mess. Here's a little bit of weather, but we're not going to touch it. 5.7. And the fuel's 3.4. Should have 13.4. We should have 13.3. We're actually up a touch. 100 pounds. That's all looking good. Oh, hey, Boeing Sky Pilot. No, actually, I'm just taking a breather because of all the updates with X-Plane 12. I want to keep both of them up to date. And there really hasn't been much of an update for MS 2020 or to Device Interface Manager, which is what I use for my go-between. So, but there was quite a bit going on the X-Plane side. So that's why I've been doing pretty much a lot of XP stuff right now. But no, I plan on having the flight deck up and running with both MS 2020 or X-Plane, either one of the two. But I still have to get my gauges working in 2020. My flight illusion gauges don't work there just yet. I've been trying to figure out G-step. It says that they're running, but they're not getting or receiving any data. So that needs to be looked at. I may have to contact Flight Illusions and see what the deal is there. Maybe they'll be able to help out. And Mad Creative. No, I'm not on VATSIM. I do have a VATSIM ID, an older one from way back when. 830306. But I haven't been on VATSIM for a while because I've been getting a little slow. And I don't want to get in the way of other people's enjoyment, especially if they're running an event, for me getting a little mixed up. Or if I got to go take my meds or jump out of the flight deck or something. So, but I could still get on there if I want to every now and then, run a flight.
Affirmative, big 718, 300 knots or better, American 2455 is still further advising.
Yeah, the idea is I'm hoping to try and keep them both up to date and not let them get too far out of date before I try, because I don't want to get too lost with too many things that have to be redone. So, and it's nice because I don't mind tinkering other than doing flying. Now, the tinkering is nice here and there. So from here we would basically be on just about the arrival chart if we would bring that up, because right now we're inbound LMT, and if we take a look, oh, I was in the right spot. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this down in the bottom here. LMT is right down at the very bottom here. And that puts us on the arrival into Seattle. But it's not to scale. It's not until we get into this blue section up here and that dashed line where we actually show up on the moving map display as we head on into Seattle. So, but we have a little ways to go. But we would normally be on this chart just about now. Well, he just came out with 4.00 full. So that's out, and then he has 1 or 2 out now, 4.00.2. So you got a full package that you're dealing with only 2 updates. So that's not too bad. And I let a couple of his updates go by every now and then because I spend more time checking than I would do flying, because when he does an update, I'll come in here and I'll run cold and dark. Done. And just to make sure that the interface is still good and nothing has changed. So it takes a little bit of time to get that done. So I may miss 1 or 2 depending on how quick he is in getting them out. So right now I'm using 2 and 3's out already. So, and he put 2 out at 4 o'clock this morning. So here's a new update. What, 12 hours later? So the man's tenacious coming to his lady. He works on her constantly. All right, we'll be leaving the Oakland area real soon, heading into Seattle's control area. And we have 323 miles top of descent, 438 miles to go. And I haven't even seen a hiccup out of X-Plane this ride, so not bad. Auckland, yeah. I was there not that long ago, man. That's another nice ride. New Zealand, man. Rather nice view. If it stays like this, we should have a nice view on it the way in. It's been broken for the most part. Oh, let me go see what my wife wanted me to go look at. I'll be right back. Yeah, that's what I spent the last week doing, updating my lights and then doing all the updates to X-Plane and making sure 2020 was still up to date. I'll be right back. That's an hour and a half from the gate. And we're looking at what? 428 miles to go. I'll be right back.
United 545, contact center 127.65.
2755, United 545 today. Afternoon Center, American 604-390.
Good afternoon, this is Qantas 11 Heavy maintaining flight level 390.
KLAX, 13 foot, flight level 290, flight level 260.
Minimum 89 Charlie Golf, contact center 132.85. United 263, Star Roger. On to maintain flight level 350. Contact center 120.57.
20.57, United 2121.
Hello, John, this is 2420. Passing flight level 180 for flight level 30. Yeah, 2420, that's flight level 330. 309 is 2420. Jet 251, gonna maintain flight level 300, set the level 9 minutes below. Go to the southwest, 471, Alpha 471, maintain flight level 380, mostly clear ground. Flight level 380, mostly clear ground. Delta 19, from that 120 for
1915, Centercon, maintain flight level 330.
Flight level 330, Delta 19.
1915, contact center 127.65.
Copy 765, Delta 19.
United 2420, contact center 127.02.
2702, United 2420.
All right. I think we can get that air off me now. All right, she's done. That should be in range. And we're looking at 11.6 at LMT. And we're at 12.4. All right, we're looking good. And we're looking at 400 miles to Seattle. 286 the top of descent.
Peninsula 162, center, I maintain 15,000.
Yeah, the clouds look a little weird in the mountains there. You got the step down jagged lines look a little not all that great looking, but and you look over here, they look pretty good. So we're in Seattle's airspace now.
That is 1878,
And that's in. That's in. All right. They're in. I'll get that in just a bit. Decision height is in. Land altitude is in. Right now we'll be coming in at a $149, it looks like. Okay. The winds are easing a bit. We're down to 92. All right, we're under 300 miles to go. Oh, Boeing, you're in Seattle? Nice. How's the weather by you? I don't think I've been to Seattle in a while. I think I'm due. I used to do a lot of testing out here. Here in LA because it was hard on the equipment. And it was a good test area. That should be in range. Let's see if we can get that. And don't need that. Don't need that. Getting a little hazy out there now. I don't know. Not good timing. I was up a ways to go before we start our descent. So we may pass this as well. Starting to thicken up. Overcast, a little on the warm side with some gusty winds, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to thicken up now a little bit with some overcast. And that's an hour and a half from entering the runway. And we've got 373 to go, 257 atop of descent. And it's been a great ride from cold and dark to where we are now. Absolutely beautiful. Oh yeah, look, it's starting to get real thick. You can't see anything down there now. Oh, what was I watching last night? What a great movie. Oh, hey, Tom, how's it going? You say you caught me on our way into Seattle. Control Tower? Oh, was it Kiefer Sutherland? It was one of the Sutherlands, I think. Was an ATC controller, and in the beginning of the movie, a plane goes down, and he kind of loses it, and decides he doesn't want to be ATC anymore, and then he goes into programming, and then somehow he ends up back in I think it's Seattle area as a controller. First, he's running around with the tape strips, you know, with the printer, handing them out. And then eventually he ends up on the scope. That was actually a pretty cool movie. I don't remember that one from a while ago. This one was put out quite a bit. That was actually a nice movie. And then they end up having another emergency on the back end where an aircraft loses, you know, everything basically, and they have to guide them in using alternate thrust. and then they get some systems back, and it's a happy ending at the end. But it's a pretty cool movie. I just watched that the other night. It was rather nice. Yeah, we'd be on the arrival chart now, but it's not to scale, so I'm not going to bring that up just yet. 3:57 to go. I think I'll wait a little bit longer before I go out and get a drink, and then that'll be it. I'll stay in here for the remainder of the ride. So far, I've been pretty good. I think the couple of times I got up was enough to stretch my back. I could feel a little twinge there, but not too bad. Be nice if I could get another ride in after dinner. That would really be great. Maybe I'll take a look at that run that you wanted me to do. Where was it? You know what? I gotta write that down, because I forget things easy.
Contact center 134.45 today.
34.45.
Compass 5830 is flight level 320. Compass 5830, center, good morning. Any ride report so bad? No, good ride so far this morning.
En route to, okay.
Compass 5830, start to pick up some light shock here. 34 available, and are the rides better up there? First, plane and half. Seems like everybody up higher is a little bit heftier.
Hard for me to read this. I'm going back. I should have wrote it down.
436, 38, and then no plane.
I know someone asked to see a flight from so-and-so to so-and-so, and now I can't see it on here, and I didn't write it down. I'll eventually be able to get it, looking at the big screen.
And 426, center is on maintain flight level 350.
Descend to the climb is 350 and 420.
Delta 956, contact center 134.907 today.
I'll have to find it later.
Contact center 127.17 today.
LIMJ. Well, you're in Italy? Right, Tom, I think that's Italy, right? Isn't L... I think it is.
Good morning, on maintain level 350.
Alright, we're inbound Kingdom 337.
FedEx 3012, ascent 280 for 290. FedEx 3012, center climb.
Top of descent, 223. Alright, we're getting there.
Flight level 370, and for FedEx 3012, we'd like to request flight level 350 in the final.
Looks like it's breaking up a little bit here, too, so... I'm hoping we have a decent view on the way in. And we're only fighting an 84 knot headwind now. This entire ride has been nothing but headwind. We didn't break 400 on the ground speed the entire way.
And just to confirm for FedEx 3012, we are clear right now to flight level 370. FedEx 3012, affirm. Thank you.
Doesn't look like there's much rain out there, though. So that's good.
65, passing flight level 335 for 290.
1865, center, good morning, climb maintain flight level 330.
Delta 1865, climb to flight level 330.
Geneva. Okay, yeah.
Alaska 4626, 350.
This has been a nice, enjoyable ride. It's amazing that all this comes together and performs as well as it does. I mean, there's a ton of stuff going on here. That's to the testament of the Zibo Mod and FDS to XP from Pickatanga and ZHSI for the glass screens. Really comes together rather well. It's amazing. For a home simulator, you wouldn't think this was in the garage. Are you dealing with some bad weather, Tom? Yeah. I also noticed this fix that my my oxygen gauge seems to be working correctly again. A friend of mine, Pat, has the same flight illusion gauges in his flight deck that I have, and his oxygen gauge was showing between 10 and 12 and 14 psi. Mine was showing around 300. I couldn't figure out why. Same gauge, same setup he has, and yet I put in the new update, and now all of a sudden I'm back to being good. We're up 10, almost 11,000 pounds there. So that seems to have fixed itself. Yeah, we're at flight level 360, so it's been actually a pretty smooth ride considering we've had 80, 90 mile an hour winds from head and then off to the side a little bit. Been pretty smooth. Next on 2020, I could pretty much do that at any time, but I do have another update coming out for X-Plane 12. So I'm probably going to go update that and then take another run and make sure everything is good there. But it's been a little while since I've been in 2020, so it's due. It's due for a run. I've been dialing in PMDG's axes. Been trying to get them mellowed out. It would be nice if I can get them as close as I can to match that of the X-Plane 12. At least the feel for the control surfaces. You know, the aircraft's not going to respond the way it does in X-Plane, but if I can get the feel of the yoke and the rudder pedals to be close, that would be a home run in my book. So that's what I'm working on there.
American 251 Center, good morning. Climb and maintain flight level 330. 330.
That should be in range. 3.6, actually. We're on to 200 miles, the top of descent now. Just over 300 to go. So we're getting there. So you know what? I'm going to step out. I'm going to grab a drink real quick, stretch my back and my legs. We'll come in here and we'll finish this off. So I'll be right back.
American 251, contact center on 127.17, get in. 127.17, 251. American 270, offender, good morning, climb and maintain, flight level 350. Good morning, last one in 35360, smooth ride.
November 455 Delta Golf, climbing through to 20 for 290.
November 455 Delta Golf Center, good morning, climb and maintain, flight level 350.
To flight level 350, 455 Delta Golf.
Alarm 455 at 360. Alaska 455, center to one. Center to one, Alaska 493, 360. Alaska 493, center to one. November 5 Delta Golf, climb and maintain flight level 410.
Up to flight level 410, 455 Delta Golf.
American 270, contact center 134.45. Good morning.
3445,
Orange 2765 is checking in, flight level 350.
Price air 2765, center to one. Morning center, Alaska 550, level 370. Alaska 550, center to one.
All right.
Price air 27.
So we're under 300 miles now. 288 to go to finish this one off. HDR? No, I don't have HDR turned on. These monitors are fairly old, probably about 7 years, 8 years now. And when I turn HDR on in Windows, the text kind of looks a little scrawny and weird. And so I haven't really tried it beyond that. But these monitors, they're starting to get a little tired. It's almost time for new ones. I plan on putting 386-inch as opposed to 375-inch, just to bring those bezels out just a little bit further towards the post. And a couple of things I want to make sure is, one, that they support HDR, and two, that they have some type of anti-glare ability, or some type of covering that I could put on there to reduce or eliminate the glare without making the screen look too dark. So that's the next setup. Because HDR looks great. I've seen it in action. So, but these monitors just don't like it. So at Kingdom, we should have 10.5 on the fuel. We're at 10.6 right now, and we should have 7.4 when we get into Seattle now. See, that's going to be nice. When they get to 12.1, they're going to start working on networking, and then we won't have this mismatch between the computers and monitors, which is going to be great. Because it does kind of kill the ride when it happens. Eh? And I definitely do not want to fly at night during a thunderstorm, because you got lightning flashes that mismatch all over the place. If you suffer from epilepsy or have a seizure disorder, you do not want to do that, because it may trigger it. It's so bad. I don't have those conditions, but that flashing is just a bit too much. And all in all, this has been a great ride. No showstoppers anywhere. This has been great. The sim has been relatively smooth the entire ride. There's been a few flickers here and there, but nothing to complain about. And I'm using almost the latest and greatest now, since X-Plane came out with Release Candidate 3. I'm using Release Candidate 2. So I'm not exactly up to date anymore. And it wouldn't surprise me if Zibo Mod came out with another update either. Oh, that's great. I may try it in the sim. I only turned HDR on when I was looking at my desktop. When I turned it on, the text was like, it's like it became really scrawny and thin and didn't look right. But I never did try it in the simulator. I may give it a run. We'll see. But I never did try it that way. Be interesting to see if I was missing all that goodness for all these years for no good reason at all.
Delta 1140, I'm going to resume normal speed, under midday, but level 230. Resume normal speed, climbing to flight level 230, Delta 1140.
Air Canada 585, Takeoff center with 2.15 today.
And we still have a ways to go before we get on that chart, only because it's not to scale. So we're looking at, what, about 160 miles will be on that chart. And we're just about coming up on 2 hours. We got an hour and 57 minutes from the gate. So I'm going to see just how close we come to their 3 hours and 3 minutes, what they ran in the real world. Actually, let me come in here. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's request some weather at Seattle. Let's see what we have here.
West at 703, request flight level 400.
170.14. Interesting. 10 statute miles broken. And broken again at 6. Overcast. 30.22 is what we're looking at right now. Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to give you a pilot the ride up here at 400.
Yeah, I've been told by a few people, although I've only seen one setup that had HDR turned on to look nice. Everyone that I talk to that has the ability to use HDR said it looks amazing, and it makes a world of difference in MS 2020. HDR is not available in X-Plane, but it is available for 2020. But I haven't tried it in there, though. Only because of the scrawny text, but I'm going to give that a go once I get done with all the updates and go back to 2020. See what that looks like. Oh, what happened to Japan Airlines, Tom? Did I miss something? Oh, you're talking about that fire? The crash? Yeah, that's, you know what? Everybody get out okay, so. That's the main thing. Yeah, look at this. It's getting a little thick out there. Could just barely make out a couple of mountaintops. Starting to thicken up. That should be in range.
Military Science Center, reset transponders, log 2650.
650 on the 12, 7655.
Yeah, we can head towards Cosmo and do the ILS 31 into the Media if that helps. 14, clear to bus. Pretty good. Cosmo, 15,
1655, Takeoff Center 133.4. 133.4 of a bike, 655. Good morning, guys. I was 16 at KSEA. 96133.
West 441 Roman here, looking for a higher one here.
Something wrong with here, finding anything, from 340.
441 Roman.
Looks like we got a little peekaboo coming up again. It's all right. Break up. Break open.
Romeo here, Takeoff Center now 133.4 of the bike.
133.4, 1 Roman.
Shouldn't be too bad going in though once we get down.
540, Takeoff Center 133.7.
It depends, Tom. You know, I want to say yeah, but I had a whole ton of money saved up for my motorized throttle quad, and then we just spent 12 grand on vet bills without cat, so gotta fill up the piggy bank again.
Contact Center 134.37.
134.37, horizon 2765 today. Good morning, Southwest 246,
Southwest 246 Center, good morning. Climb and maintain flight level 370. 370, Southwest 246.
It would be nice if I was able to get those three in here.
November 889 Delta Whiskey, contact Center 134.37.
I mean, the 75-inch screens come right up to my shoulders. They come right up to these posts. The 86 will probably come way back here, halfway through this window, I think. Not that I need it that further back, but I want the width in the front to move that bezel out. And if they're larger, I won't have to bring them in as much if I lower them down a little bit, because I have some play before I see the top of the TVs when I scrouch down. So I have a little bit of play there. All right, we've got less than 100 miles now to top of descent. 96 miles top of descent, and we've got 210 miles to go. And that's 2 hours and 4 minutes from the gate. And at Russell, what should we have here? 8.9 on the fuel. We're at 9.7 right now. Shadow's doing good, Tom. Hopefully he'll be back in the right seat soon. Would be rather nice. He hasn't been in that right seat in a while. He looks to come out here though, but not just yet. Get him a little stronger. Yeah, he should jump up, sit in this first officer's chair, and just chill while I'm in here doing my flights. And he's the only one that's allowed in here out of the 6 that we have, because he knows that he's not allowed underneath the flight deck because of all the wiring. He's the only one that was able to figure it out. The other ones don't care. They run right underneath, and I got to kick him out. Him, he'll go around. Every now and then he'll look at me and he'll cut the corner to see if he can get away with it. And then I yell at him and I kick him out for 2 days, and then he comes back in and he doesn't try it for a while. It's crazy. Yeah, definitely, Tom. Let me see what it looks like now. TCAS isn't even screaming about this guy. Look at this. Oh, where'd he go? He just disappeared. I could actually read the tail. It was an Alaska Airlines flight that was there. TCAS didn't mention anything about him. And then he just disappeared on this screen here. Strange. I think that's the first time that I've noticed that. That should be in range. 8.9 at Russell, right? Yep, we're at 9.4. We're looking pretty good. And we're under 200 miles to go. 193. 78 to top of descent. Oh, we're getting there.
3437, coming 6693. Good morning.
American 11 out of 26.
That's really weird. The cloud shows up, it kind of disappears, looks a little fuzzy, and then it's back again. Very strange. Very strange. Hawk is next up here, right? So we're looking at about 100 miles before we get on that chart. Only because it's not in scale, that's all. And it doesn't look like any of the rain that's out there is going to affect us just now. We're right in between. Right between the uprights, as they say. We're right in between them. You can see them off to the left, and you can see them out there to the right. The little dark clouds going on out there. As long as we pass right through them, looks like we're going to be pretty decent on the way in.
About 1,000 feet a minute. Okay, right. They'll just need to hold back for 38. Thanks. That was 3460, contact center 134.37. Good morning.
Check that chart real quick.
Delta 1698 center, good morning. Climb and maintain flight level 350. 350 to 1698.
Alright, so we're good to 24. And that's 2 hours since we entered the runway. And we've got 177 miles to go. 61 atop of descent. And we've been fighting a nasty headwind the entire ride. 80, 90 knots the whole way. It's been relentless. And the Alaska Airlines flight 1293 in the real world did this run in 3 hours and 3 minutes from what they were showing online. I'm going to see how close we can come to that. Right now from the gate we're at 209.
Southwest 1429, contact center 127.17. Good morning. 2717, take care. Southwest 1646, climb and maintain flight level 350. Flight level 350,
Somebody 500 feet above us. Don't see him yet. There he is. I got him. I got him.
46, contact 127.
Yep, I got him.
And I'll hire for you there, okay?
27,
280 Golf uniform.
2.5 miles out.
280 Golf Uniform Center, roger.
Not close enough to see his tail.
Delta 1598 request direct ML leader BPI.
Delta 1698, unable to descend to release airspace.
So Russell, 8.9 on the fuel. And right now we're at 9.0, so we're looking pretty good. We should have 7.4 when we get in.
3445.
Alaska 506, center, roger.
Airport 201 Bravo, cross 909.
Oh yeah, they were sitting here waiting one at a time. There was a point where my brother was here, my sister was here, and I wasn't even in the flight deck. I couldn't get anywhere near it. I was like, you want me to? No, we got this. No, all right. They had a blast. And then my nephews. I had a few of them over. But that was, Christmas was quiet. This was more for New Year's. Christmas, it was just me, my wife, and my mom. That was pretty quiet. But New Year's, they all had a blast. Fuel is right on the money. We are looking good. 40 miles at top of descent, 155 miles to go.
Airport 201 Bravo, contact center 118.42, good day. 42, airport show 201.
And according to this, we should be getting in at 21:18. So that's another 28 minutes. So we might be a little late. We might be a little later than they are.
JetBlue 1197, direct MJ. Direct MJ, 1197. Now, flight 7214,000 direct stop.
So at BTG, we need to be above 24. We didn't even start our descent yet, so that's no big deal. But we've got descent coming up in another 30-odd miles. Let's get them back in their seats, and we're good down to 24.
Please recheck the security of your seatbelt.
So we've got 30 miles to top of descent, 147 to go. About another 50-odd miles, we should be on that arrival chart. And I'll take terrain, and you can have the weather now.
Downtown 2993, contact center 124.52. That's not sensitivity now, that's not downtown 2993.
Good afternoon, it's Jet 216, 2800 for 10,000.
5216, time maintain 16 pounds, straight direct to Providence.
So let's see how the Zibo Mod handles the descent. I'm looking for any wide turns that need some correcting, and I'm looking for the throttle doing hunting.
Bravo, change right frequency, Alright, push the visual on Bravo, reset for 1462.
Yeah, it's nice to get away every now and then, though, Tom. Me, with the oxygen, I don't go anywhere that much anymore, but that's all right. At least I have this, though, so I don't really miss not going anywhere. But, yeah, it would be nice to get out every now and then. That's one of the good things about MS 2020. places that I'm never going to see in the real world, at least I get to see satellite data of these places. Even if it's old satellite data images. It's better than not seeing them at all, you know. 35. And let's get that shot up now. We'll pop onto that eventually. Gonna pop up from the bottom there, down by Hawks. And we can get you set as well.
United 577, center descend now to flood level 220, then cross Caleb at 11,000 altimeter 3028.
And
20, cross Caleb at 11,000 and 577.
And let me get that in there as well. Are you guys on? Nice, Jim. Go get those updates in, man. All right, that's on. Right, and all right. I don't know. Probably not, Tom. Probably not. All right, we're just about ready to start out descent. Here we go. And that's 2 hours and 18 minutes from the gate, 2 hours, 10 minutes from the runway. And we're on our way down. And we should be on that chart in about 40 miles. And we should pop up right at the bottom. Oh, you know what? I can't get you low enough for you. Oh, yes, I can. How about that? Bring that up more. All right, let's see how she handles the descent. And 220 now. That first constraint's already made. And let's get you in. Be coming in at $146. So you're good, you're good, 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 good. I'm on terrain and you're in already. And at Petra, we should have 8.3, we're at 8.3. And we should have 7.5 when we get into Seattle on the fuel. And we are coming down beautifully. And we've got 104 miles to go. About 30 miles out of that chart there. That was a little weird. I'll have to go back and look at that. I wasn't looking at that. I don't know what happened there. But something just flickered big time. Weather update maybe. But the descent's still looking pretty good. About 30 odd miles we should be on that chart. And
You got the 1827 power up. Yep. ILS 4 right. 1827 only 4 right. Clear land 10907. Clear land 4 right. 1827. 4556 hours 1008. Runway 4 right. Clear land.
all right, 95 miles to go. Under 100. Yeah, you can't afford to float though. And then Craig, 8.2 on the fuel. We're at 8.2. Looking good. Don't think fuel's going to be a problem. And above 12 now, yes. And 270 on the speed, yep. Very good. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Leave it be. 270 at 12.
Number 4430, exit here at Juliet, hold short of runway 4 left. Yes, Juliet, hold short runway 4 left, first one 430. Morning, bring here 36, 94 to the outside green. 3694, tower 1006, runway 4 right, clear land. Clear land, 4 right, bring here 36.
So far the descent's looking pretty good.
Alaska 3672, exit here on Palm 3, hold short of 4 left kilo. Alaska 3556, golf, cross 4 left, the 170 gives way to you, contact ground.
Not much to see right now. Hopefully we break through some of this. Need to be above 12. And we're doing fine there. Yeah, it's getting a little thick. Clouds are definitely starting to pick up. Getting a little thick out here. Alright, so we are 9 miles from Hawk, so we should be popping up on that chart within 10 miles, I would think. And on that chart, we're going to break left and take pikes over to Breve, to Nets, to Key West there for 16 center. Alright, we gotta be popping up on that chart now. And we're just about inbound line. There we are, we're on that chart now. And local. And let's see. Complete air panel pack set to auto. Yes. Pressurization panel land altitude is in. Passenger signs are on. Auto brake selector is set. Flight instruments and radios. We've got 111.7, 111.7. We've got 164, 164. That's all looking good. Recall. We got a clean board. And VREF minimums are in. Local pressures in. And I'm on terrain already. So we're looking pretty good. Coming down beautifully. How we doing with the rain there? We might get something. We might get some. We got 55 miles to go. So we're going to come out, loop around, and 16 center on the way in. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes from the runway, and that's 2:29 from the gate. 3 hours and 3 minutes is the real world time for Alaska Airlines flight. What was that flight number? 1293 from LA to Seattle. And we're doing the same run. 8. 1509 So far the descent has been beautiful. This whole ride. I haven't flown on VATSIM in a while, Craig. But yeah, the radios work. Absolutely. My VATSIM ID is 830306. But like I said, Craig, I haven't been on there in a while, though. I'm getting a little slow nowadays, and I don't want to interfere with other people's enjoyment, so getting mixed up. So I do most of my flying. You know, I grab the real-world flight from FlightAware, pull all that data together, and then run it the way they do in the real world. Oh yeah, Tom. Kofu? Oh yeah. I've been there. I'm hoping that this battery holds out. The battery's giving you that chart there. I just got one of those little ding-dings there. Because when I run the chart over to you through Duet, it doesn't charge the battery. So I'm hoping it's going to make it for the rest of this ride. If not, it's just going to die out on me. I wonder, can I check how much juice we have left here? Oh, 72%. We should be good for this ride. Shouldn't be the one on the bottom, because the one on the bottom is plugged in, so. So we need to be below 11 and above 10 here at, was it Privy? Right now we're at 11.6 descending. And we should have 8 on the fuel. We're at 8 right now. We're looking pretty good. It's going to be nice when they get the networking done. We're almost up to networking. 12.1, that's what we're looking for. Oh, I can only imagine, Tom. Is this in 2020, Tom? All right, we're below 250 knots now. We're coming up on 10,000, so light them up. And 10,000. Exterior lights, yep, we are good. Engine start select is the continuous, and the EFIS panel, I'm on terrain already. So we're looking good. Oh yeah, I can imagine, Tom. I can only imagine. I flew into one of the places down there, and the view was just absolutely stunning. It was at dusk. It was amazing. I had that flight on video too. I can't remember the airport I went to, but wow, what a beautiful ride. Gonna be nice once they get this fixed. That completely destroys the whole view. Hopefully it'll go away soon. Or the other two will catch up to it. One of the two. Six there, and then we're getting vectors, yes. And that's going to be... It's been a beautiful ride. Now if we can get that monitor to catch up to these two, we'll be good. So Seattle Airport is basically right here. We're going to come on out, loop around, and land on 16 Center. Yeah, we're getting whacked around a little bit now. So now we're going to be slowing at 210, 6,000. Descending through 7,200. And then we are heading 344 from Vash. And then we would get vectors. But since I'm not online with VATSIM, we're going to fly out, make a right-hand turn, and hook up with Anvil and head on in. Here's the weather. I'm unable to have the weather on my screens and your screens back here because they're on two different computers and you can only run the weather to one IP address. And we're slowing at 210. This has been a great arrival. The whole ride's been great. Beautiful. Beautifully done. I'll see if I can find the name and how long ago I did it, but you got to see the ending was just amazing. And 344. Oh, I should have the 3D window up here. Let me see, do I have that set up? I put all new stuff in here, so I don't know if that's up online. Oh, it is. Let's see what that looks like. See what kind of rain we're getting. Oh, now the rain stopped, right? I go to 3D and the rain stopped. I didn't even adjust the wipers yet. Hopefully they're in the right spot. But they're not hooked up. They're not wired up, so unfortunately. All right, let's bring that up now. Yeah, I can feel my shoulder. It usually starts like that when I'm sitting too long with my back. Shoulder starts. Comes from up in the neck. Let's head on in, shall we? That's a pretty cool view there. It'd be nice if we break out and the weather match. We got weather here, different weather here, and different look here. That would have been a nice view. All right, let's start slowing down. Enjoy this view. I can hear the rain, but I don't see anything going on here. Give me 5,000 to go. Oh yeah, we're getting pushed around a little bit now. Give me 10. I don't see any rain. I can hear it slamming the aircraft though. There's a Space Needle. At least I got to see that. You can See, there's a lag between the monitors when it turns. I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully that gets fixed in networking as well. We should be coming in for the localizer.
Jazz 942, clear the ILS 22 left.
Jazz 943, down, 140, 7 line, 22 left, clear line.
Good line, Jazz 942.
Jazz 942, line, 22 left, clear line.
2 left, clear land, Jazz 942, thank you.
17 knot headwind.
1230 is the exit, turn left on top of the Charlie, Charlie, and hold short line, 22 left.
Left on top of Charlie, short,
Sounds like the rain is easing up now, but I didn't see any 3D rain effect.
Bridge 3440, okay, I'll be moving here in just a minute. They're showing gate 85, but I'll take the word for it. Alright. Greenway 7118 tower, wind 140, 10, that's 15, line 22 left, clear line. JetBlue 1230 is Charlie, Charlie, cross going 22 right, turn right on Bravo, hold short of turn.
I'm in the gear. Looks like we're breaking through in the front here. B-15. Looks nasty out there, doesn't it? Ferrari Gaming, what's up, Pete? How you doing? 825. And we'll go right to landing speed. How about that? Let me have you, and you. $15 knot headwind. Newark to West Palm. Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of nasty weather out there, man. A lot of nasty weather. But I do have MS 2020 in the simulator now, Pete. Last time I know you were here, we did X-Plane 12, but I got MS 2020 in now. Cool. All right, I've got the airport and I've got the runway. And Zibo Mod has been beautiful the whole ride. From cold and dark to where we are now. Beautiful ride. 2020 looks beautiful. What's nice is I get to see places in the real world that I'm never going to get to go visit. You know, so even if I get to see just the satellite data, it's better than not seeing it at all. You know, even if it's old data. So it's actually pretty cool. And I can run in the ultra settings, running 7 monitors, which is amazing to me. So.
Approaching.
And this has been all Zibo.
Center.
This is all Zibo. So. My bird. I thought I lost my trim there for a minute. Ooh, come on down. Come on down. Where'd that throttle go? Come on down. Lost my throttle on my trim there for a bit. Yeah, I see it, I see it, I see it. was a little wicked. I should have took it a little bit sooner, so I could check my throttle and yoke. Sometimes it's weird. It doesn't seem to work the first go around.
80 knots.
5,000 feet remaining.
Yeah, we'll come down a little bit more. We'll come down a little bit more. ETA test.
4,000 remaining.
Beautiful run. No complaints. And that's an hour and 39 minutes from the gate. Give me a minute on the clock. Or 2:39 actually. 2:47 from the gate. So I think we got in a little bit quicker. But I kicked up the cruise to Mach 0.8, so.
Approaching 3-4 right.
Did I just cross a runway? Oops. I just crossed the runway. I didn't put any of my lights on. Oops. You bad boy. You bad boy. So we're coming right over here. That's just about a minute. And I should have got to that spot right there. I missed it. Change of parking space. A little bit of flicker going on there. But the frame rates are good though. Frame rates aren't budging. That's a little strange. So I do get some flickers, but not much at all. So not bad. Not bad. It's a pretty cool ride. Oh yeah, Pete, we'll run 2020 when you come on down. No doubt about it, brother. No doubt about it. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that run. Landing might be a little bit rough there, but I had a good time. The flight simulator performed beautifully. Gate to gate, 2 hours and 49 minutes. So we got in, 14 minutes early. And I kicked it up to Mach 0.8. So we got in a little bit early. I hope you enjoyed that ride. I may be back for another one after I get something to eat. I don't know. We'll see. My back's starting to bother me a little bit, but if I lay down for a bit, it may go away. If that happens, I'll be back. I'll do another run. All right. And for everybody that was here, man, I hope you enjoyed the ride. I always enjoy the company and the conversation that takes place. So thanks for joining me. Tom and Craig and Pete and a whole bunch of people here today. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. You come on down from the UK, Tom, anytime, man. All right, everybody. I'll catch you on my next run. Take care.
Delta 12 coming up on first 6 way. That's 1212 out here, opposite deck, part of the south complex, we'll turn away at the shoreline, wind 1204, runway 6 right, straight land.
Delta 1212, clear to land.
Expectation heavy at the shoreline, turn left at 210, runway 25 right, clear back.
At shoreline 210, 25 right, clear to pick up at
FedEx 486 radio, Foxtrot, south 25 left, top 25 right, right to 9 guys.
Okay, on Foxtrot, cross 25 left, cross 25 right, right on